Alte isn't a style of music. Alte isn't a fashion sense. Alte isn't a group of people who wear dirty sneakers. No, that's not the point. Alte is a lifestyle. Nigeria has always been a place where you can package anything, and so what the Alte people they were doing was not anything new in terms of like the technique. Everybody is Alte. Shegun, you can be Alte. Hello everyone, welcome to the Game Uncensored. My name is Joey Akan and this is Cool FM 96.9. I have my man Shegun with me.
You already know.
Okay, so the Game Uncensored is a weekly show that happens every Saturday by 7 p.m.
Yep.
This is about the music industry where we tell you what's happening. There's no politics here. Nothing is correct here. We just tell it as it is. You know, the game is the game, and no matter how much we try to code it, and no matter how much you say, don't speak ill of, don't speak anything, not even ill, don't some things are too. No. All those complaints, it's not it. What matters is that the truth comes out. What matters is that we tell you how it is and we give you a better understanding of where your music comes from and how your music grows. So that's what it is. So today, what are we talking about, Shegun?
Yeah, today we're talking about something that's come to be known as Alte.
Okay.
An aesthetic heavy collection of creatives that has roots in Lagos. They're heavily inspired by stuff like Japanese anime, pop, psychedelic pop music from the 80s, the pop culture of like Nigeria in the late 90s and 2000s. The inspiration is very, very wide ranging.
That's a lot of inspiration, man.
Yeah,
that's a long lot of inspiration.
Yeah.
And you know the thing with Alte is that Alte isn't a style of music. Alte isn't a fashion sense. Alte isn't a group of people who wear dirty sneakers. No, that's not the point. Alte is a lifestyle. People banding together to say, okay, we're going to forge something new with our lives. We're going to forge it through art. We're going to forge it through elements of expression, and we're going to forge it through just being Alte.
I think the most important characteristic of everything they're doing is it's done with a sense of intention to subvert what's acceptable. So it's mostly like, this is what is reigning now, and this is what works, but this is what we're comfortable with, and this is what we like, this is what we enjoy, this is what we think you can enjoy too, and they're always willing to just test the boundaries. I think that's the most common characteristic of everything that claims to be out there.
Okay, so Alte Cruise. Shout out to Odunsi the Engine. Odunsi the Engine is one of the most sound or the soundest, depending on how you want to put it, one of the soundest music minds I know in Lagos. In Nigeria. He's one of the leading lights of the Alte movement. A lot of people these days don't even consider him as Alte. They feel like he's turning into he's Alte per se, but like he's doing a lot of things now. He's expanding his reach, expanding his influence beyond what people primarily consider the Alte jurisdiction. Yes, now that's it. They have Alte jurisdiction on the island here. So
oh my god. But yeah, I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. So Odunsi, his album released last year, was one of the best albums released in Nigeria last year. This year he's dropped the song Tipsy featuring Ray. Ray is a British artist, and that's one of the best songs this year. One of the best songs. For me, I don't consider Tipsy an Alte song.
I mean, it goes back to what you said about how people perceive Odunsi now, and I think it's something that we're going to discuss later at some point in this conversation, is how that progression from being the face of the Alte movement or the prince of the Alte crew, as some would call it. Yeah, the prince of
Alte. In a native article called him the Dark Prince of Alte. Dark Prince of Nigeria.
Very Bane type comparison, but
everybody has darkness, everybody has darkness,
it's progression from being that person to becoming a valid pop star in his own right is very interesting actually, and I think nothing reflects that fact more than Tipsy as a song. Okay,
cool. Alte, to understand like where Alte is coming from, you need to look at what Alte is. You need to look at their origins. Look at the origins of Alte, Shegun.
So the voices are diverse in the community, and as such, it's very difficult to pin down from various accounts where this all started. As with everything cultural,
and you should know that a lot of people have claims to the origin of Alte.
A whole lot of people.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty weird.
Yeah, you can move between different circles and ask the same question: where did Alte start from? I swear to God, somebody would drag you down to Bethlehem.
So this is where
exactly. This is where we drank the Alte elixir. And then it was then that we knew that our savior has come.
Oh man. But yeah, man, if you want to date it, as with everything cultural, you can't take it from a particular point and say this is where the seed was sprouted, but you can't go back to a time when a group known as DRB, Las Giddy, first set out and started, and there is no way you're having the conversation about Alte without talking about DRB, Fresher, TZ, and Budge. It was just a group of high school kids who got together to make music. They put out a couple of songs, a project, I think, around that period. And the community of kids that they were catering to were pretty much kids like them, or kids younger than them, that had the same influences as them. So their music was not, it was pop in a very pop sense. Yeah. But then it was
different from what is popular here.
Yeah, it was infused with a lot of references to things that they were familiar with, as opposed to generic pop songs that were on the radio, and they caught on very quickly. It was the same thing with another group that showed up soon after LOS, Loud on Sound. Four members are Tommy Thomas, Zamir, Bisby, and Bridge. And a very important moment in the evolution of Alte, it would have to be the Federal Palace show that happened. I can't remember the specific year, but it was LOS's Federal show at Federal Palace, and that kind of just cemented.
Everyone said, Alte has finally carved something for themselves after that show. So, Alte has gone through circles. We've had people who were in secondary school when that show happened. We've had them now claiming to be like the leaders of the Alte movement, which is really fine, because now where you start your journey, now where morning, like your morning is where you start from. Like when you wake up, now be your whole morning. So if you like the guy who says today that I woke up today and I made this song and everybody vibes with it, and I felt like I curated the vibe, therefore I am the start, I am the pioneer of Alte. It is okay, it is nice. Everybody is Alte. Shegun, you can be Alte. Well, yes. The thing with Alte is this. The basic elements of them, or that they have, they want things to be different. Alte, they believe there's a band of there's a type of expression that comes when you consume things that are not mainstream. When you consume alternative things, or maybe you can consume mainstream things, mix them with alternative influences, and then you come together and then you create art from it. You create a medium of use a medium of expression to show that creativity from all your influences. And JMK, they call him Ramsino all the time. No, not Ramsino, Tony Umez. Tony Umez. He looks like a young Tony Umez, but he's one of the soundest minds I know. Last year I traveled. A very cool part of it, like a very interesting part of my experience with the Alte movement was last year. I had a commission for a story that hasn't come out. It probably would never come out, but might. But that was like the final days before Odunsi played his rare album in Ghana. So I traveled with him to Accra. We bonded over that trip. I met his friends. I went to the show. I met his fans. I met a lot of people in Ghana who are Alte. And the difference between Nigeria Alte and Ghana Alte is literally just the way they pronounce Alte.
How do they pronounce it?
Well,
you cannot remove your way out of this. Like you're gonna dig deep and find it.
Well, if you're a Ghana fan, you can join the conversation on on Twitter, Cool FM Nigeria. On Instagram, it's Cool FM Lagos. My name is Joey Akan. Joey Akan. You can find it across all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, so everywhere on social media. Joey Akan.
Yeah, Shegun Akonde, SEGUNAKANDE _.
Exactly. So So tell us how you pronounce the Alte thing. One of the best parts of the Alte movement for me, and the part that gladdens my heart the most, is growth.
Yeah.
I was first put on Alte, I think in 2015. 2015, that was when people put me on Alte. They shared some of Santi's old songs with me.
Yeah, when he was going by the name Ozzy B.
Yeah, Ozzy B, they shared it with me. Then initially I first confused it with Ozzy Bosco.
Ozzy Bosco,
Yeah,
that was
guy?
very like common back then. When
Yeah.
you be like, yo, this guy Ozzy B,
Ozzy B,
like,
Ozzy Bosco, that the child guy, the guy that never took off, you know.
Joey.
What? Has he taken off?
He actually did not take off.
No, let's not try to be very political about this. Ozzy Bosco, that guy did not take off.
Okay, it's established.
Yeah,
It did not take off.
no, it's not taking off. It's not, the childhood starting did not work. You know, they tried to market it a little. Yeah, it did not work.
That thing is so problematic. But like, it's a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So I confused Ozzy B with Ozzy Bosco, and then he switched his name to Santi, and then Odunsi was having so much was getting so much light. He was featured on there was one feature he had then that was very important. Was it Spotify or Complex?
Yeah, Spotify's 10 hottest songs. That was in 2016 for this song with Okunta Kinte.
Yeah,
I think that's Happy Hour.
Yeah,
it was on Spotify's 10 hottest songs.
I'm from there. I'm from there. That feature alone put a lot of people onto him. And people were like, this is Odunsi. Who is Odunsi? From then you could trace it down to another good time for Odunsi and for the movement generally, because Odunsi has shouldered a lot of things in terms of being very prominent and being the guy in front. Being the poster boy for it. Desire. Yeah, that 2017. 2017. Desire was such a great single.
I think it's a phenomenal record, because when you look at what it did for the community in a sense, because familiarity is our access, the way we process content in music has a lot to do with how much familiar stuff you can find inside of it. People need to be able to latch on to certain things that they recognize to be able to process the rest of the stuff that they don't. And before Desire came out, what we were seeing a lot of was new sounds, completely new sounds.
Yeah, completely different sounds. Not just new and completely different sounds. Let's be honest here. No. Let's not. We're hearing not just new, completely different sounds. We're hearing things. We're hearing a lot of some good music. But we're hearing a lot of music that was aspirational.
Yes.
People just
we do have to say that. There was a lot of music that was aspirational.
A lot of it also was very tuneless. I have to admit this. A lot of the music then was very tuneless. People just showed up in the studio. No, back then, when you listen to a lot of it, people just showed up in the studio and said, "This is sweet music. This is different music." And they're like, "Sweet, go on side. Different. Let us be different." Oh, damn. But that was it. That was how the music sounded. That was how a lot of the music sounded back then. And then back then, a lot of the music sounded that way. And we could understand this. The Alte people, they're not doing anything that. The technicality of what they're doing is not very different. Nigerian music has always been a sponge. We take a lot of influences and then we pass it through a Nigerian filter, and then it comes out as what we have. We have seen salsa blow up in this country now. We have seen songs that have that songs will come from North Africa. Influence will come from North. Every influence can be repackaged in this country and blown. See Olamide, Send Harmony.
Yes.
Send Harmony. Where did that song come from? It's Latino, fam. It's Latino. Like, exactly. Yes. That's where it came from. You've seen reggaeton. You've seen that Adekunle Gold now doing a record. Before you wake up, everything it's reggaeton. It's reggaeton. People say reggaeton.
I mean, the most interesting example now is even like the old sound, cool sound, which is pretty much just a flip of like Kwaito and Kom sound.
Gwom music. So Nigeria has always been a place where you can package anything. And so what the Alte people they were doing was not anything new. In terms of like the technique, what was new? It was the way they were mixing it.
I think it was
they leaned very heavily to the western side.
Yeah,
a lot of it back then. We had a lot of trap.
It was heavy on the sound. It was heavy on sound as opposed to. And I don't know if this is a fair way to put it. I don't want to say substance, but it was more heavy. It was aesthetic heavy. Yeah, and it still is.
It felt like music that was beautiful, music that you could ask out. Not necessarily music that you could ask out and put on a shelf and show all your friends that this is my guy. It's not necessarily music that you can take home.
Anyways,
and do a lot of things with. So, we've seen that change, and this is part of their growth process. Remember, we've had this conversation way back when I'm like, I said it all the time back then, while I worked at Pulse then, and I was music editor. Back then, one of the major, and yes, this is me blowing a horn of some sort, but yes, it's my horn.
It's your horn.
It's
man.
my horn. Back then, I was music editor for a platform that gave them, a mainstream platform that gave them a home. Pulse
actually did.
Yes, Pulse did. Pulse gave them a lot of light. Pulse jumped on them, and back then it was a very interesting conversation because if you go back, you'd see a lot of articles written about people that, in quotes, in terms of like the music scene back then, they were nothing. They were like they didn't even have a home. They didn't have a place in the system.
I mean, it's important to place this in. When Desire came out, going to what you said, and I want to create context for what you said. When Desire came out as this song that I could, on a personal level, finally share with people that I wanted to put onto this sound.
Yes.
So there were songs, or there were projects like Taste Passport, for instance.
Yeah, Taste Passport.
Santi's Susie's Funeral. They did on these projects, and that is one prolific artist.
Yes.
That were not necessarily accessible. When Desire came out, that was a song that my favorite example is actually my mom, because I played the song for her, she liked it, and then I was like, okay, let me play other songs for you. And then she started pointing out 80s and 90s samples for me in songs by Odusi and Lady Donny. And going to what you said, the music was interesting.
Yeah.
But at that point, as of 2016, there weren't that many people that noticed, and it was up to platforms like Pulse and people like yourself to just get it out there. I remember like we had a segment on Loose Talk back then when I would just talk about one Alte artist every week. We were going to their shows. Shout out to you.
Yes. It's a crazy 90s baby sound off. Then Thomason had the she has the Lucid Lemon Curd.
Shout out to Thomason.
Yeah. Now we're saying PGM is coming up and embracing a lot of it. Shout out to Douglas Jacon for the work he's doing. They have a lot of platforms now. And then one of the things that got to me, one of the days I almost
to Kemi Smalls.
Yeah, Kemi Smalls.
Gig
basement gig. People had platforms putting these people on aggressively, and a very emotional moment for me last year was at Odunsi's show at Hard Rock. Odunsi filled that place. Yes, I know. Like they've had shows before. Most of their shows were communal shows where artists will band together and say, okay, let's just try to pull in our people by being this commune. And that's how they sold it. They sold it on the strength of all of them. But Odunsi pulled off a show in a capacity in a venue that had 600 people as a headline artist, and he pulled it off. He pulled it off, and it was very important to me because that was the moment that hit me that okay, this has finally found its roots.
Okay, so the question I want to ask you now, Joey, is we've talked about the origins in a sense.
Yeah.
We've talked about where they've the parts they've gone through. We've talked about 2016, 2017. Where do you think Alte artists and creatives and Alte as a community is now in 2019?
The name of the show is The Game Uncensored. The game is the game. It's always the game. And this is Cool FM 96.9. To be a part of the conversation. Of course, you can be a part of the conversation. The handles are for Cool FM Instagram. You have on IG, it's Cool FM Lagos. On Twitter, it's Cool FM Nigeria. I am Joey Akan across all platforms, JoeyAkan. And I have
Shego Akonde, that's SEGUNAKANDE with an underscore across all platforms. Don't go and look for me on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook, people. I'm on Facebook. That's where my Nigerian people are. The real Nigeria.
I do not.
The real Nigeria are on Facebook. And then if you want to, then Instablog Nigeria comment section is the diaspora.
We do like that. That's now we actually do need to talk about comment sections like at some point.
Yes, exactly. And the artists that promote music there, but that's another day. That's another day. What matters today is Alte. And Alte. Yeah, where are they now? Where does Alte sit now? Alte is in a very good position. Alte is in a good position in sense of when you look at all the music movements. Let's isolate Lagos Lagos. Look at all the all the music movements in Lagos. You could say, okay, we have the mainstream guys, the stars, the people that people know. Those ones like the Runtowns, the Tiwa Savage, the Kiss Daniels, those ones that they're lit. They're the ones driving the culture. They make pop music and popular music. Afrobeats is what has led a lot of good things from this industry. Then you have the people from the street who are also making pop music now. Previously they weren't really pop, but since Small Doctor did that thing, they've received some sort of attention, and people have been exactly, and so they've been able to pump their way in. Last year it was Slim Case who led the movement. Slim Case, and then to a large extent, to a decent extent, Mr. Real. This year we have Zlatan Ibile running wild,
absolutely running
the game.
And we've also seen like a couple of younger kids emerge.
Yes,
basically mostly of social media. Yes, which is funny. Guys like Sinoleski. Yes. And those Agege boys.
Yeah, all of these things have happened. Then you have the upcoming artists, like the upcoming pop artists. That's another entire market on their own. You can see them everywhere. Those lots, they are very, God help them, because the kind of frustration I see as an upcoming artist in Lagos, God, please help your people.
It's hard, man.
And then on one corner on the island, on the island mostly, you would see the Alte community. There's no house or a building that's called Alte, but none of that. But they have been able to create, from creating music and creating conversations around their music and banding together, they've been able to curate a following that pays attention to them, a following that gives them, that hypes them, a following that attends their shows, a following that gives them something, gives them a percentage of everything. So at this point now, they have identity. They have moved from, we're trying to punch the system, punch them, and say they've moved from, we are here to, okay, you guys see us now.
Yeah.
Like to, okay, we have seen you now. We know who you are. What's next? That's where they are at. And the reason why I classify it this way is that a lot of factors, but a lot of Alte people would choose to disagree with me, which is fine. And let's not forget, the Alte community has a lot of hype. Alte community, one of the pillars of Alte community was hype of everything.
Some people would call it signal boosting, or
you can't call this signal boosting. No, you can't.
Or supporting your own.
Yeah, you're supporting your own. Yes, but it was cool when it was very cool and very necessary when you guys were punching above your weight. When you guys are punching above your weight and saying, this is us, you can say everything, attract people to you. Right now, Alte has a lot of hype, a lot of hype now, and we've gotten to the stage where we have, I don't want to use the word Altenazis.
Oh my God.
Yeah, where you say one thing against Alte, you say one thing that doesn't sound like all hail Alte, and you see people in your DMs, you see people in your DMs, they're trying to attack you and saying you don't support the culture, Those are extremists, man.
I mean, in a lot of ways.
But Alte needs to be told what it is. They're at this stage now. They've had two beautiful projects. They've had Rare.
Yeah.
They've had two beautiful projects that have pushed beyond the Alte community in recent times. Last year, Rare came out. This year we have Santi's project out. For me, I don't like all the music on Santi's project. A lot of it isn't for me. But I connect with a couple. I connect with Movlana.
What are your favorite songs?
Yeah, I connect with Movlana. I connect with RX64. I connect with Raw Dinner.
I love RX64.
Yeah, I connect with Raw Dinner. And I connect with the singles. Freaky, I connect with Freaky every day and any day. I don't really like Sparky that much.
Everybody knows you don't like Sparky.
Yes, it's too pedestrian for me. it's too pedestrian for me.
Vibes.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, exactly. It's too pedestrian for me. It's a good song. It's a decent song when it's not being hyped. But when it's being hyped, it's supposed to. It doesn't match it.
So do you see this as a case of the people who are supporting this industry, or this collective of artists, or the community, or whatever it's become now, have become basically like kind of blind to its faults, and have become fanatics in a sense?
It is okay. It's a natural progression for this to happen. It's a natural progression for this to happen when you when you own something, especially something creative, when you pour your blood, your spirit, your soul, your every waking moment in creating something out of nothing, something that wasn't, and now you've made it possible. Like there's in Alte, every time they like.
Is it like Alte people? Like
Yeah,
they have like
they,
a uniform.
They identify each other. They identify each other. Like, see, listen, in these spaces, you would know an Alte. You know Alte when you see Alte. So, like, you see that meme there's a video of Drake after that Raptors game where Drake was saying, was telling journalists, look around you, we created all of this didn't exist before. That's like the state of Alte now.
No.
Yes. They know they have the attention. They know people are paying attention. They know a lot of people are paying attention. And right now they're like, look around you. We created this. We created this.
So you see
that's what it is right now.
Indulgent now.
I see it as indulgent. A lot of it. I see it as indulgent. And they could justify that. They could justify that. But when the Santi release happened, when Santi released the project, a lot of people. Santi release is that project is very polarizing. Mandy and the Jungle.
Yeah.
Mandy and the Jungle. Some people went into the jungle with Mandy, and they felt it, and they enjoyed the entire jungle experience. Some people went into the jungle and had to run out of the jungle.
Came out with PTSD.
Yeah, they came back with PTSD. A lot of people are saying no, this is not that they don't understand it, and it is fine. It is very fine. But my problem is with people who try to sell off this music as elitist. I see some people saying, you won't understand Alte music if you don't understand, if you're not intelligent. And then I went down to one of the lyrics and I read it, and I'm like, I put the lyrics of Sparky up on Twitter, and I'm like, what level of intelligence do I need to process Bonchiga with the darkie? Exactly. I could see this happen, and I'm like, no. The problem.
But is this a fault of the artists or the community of fans that they built around them?
It's not. It's not the fault of the artists. Artists would always go for the love. They're artists, they're creative people. A lot of artists, if they could have all their fans lined up in front of them every day and keep saying, what's that thing, and keep reading, let's say an art, and keep saying, hail this artist, hail that artist, and they're bowing down
like
morning to night, like exaltation. It feels good, and that's it. It's okay to follow the love when you're creative. It's okay, but what isn't okay is not understanding that your art isn't for everybody. The biggest people, the biggest artists, they have people who don't roll with their art, and it is okay to not connect with with a piece of art rather. So that in itself is not. There's no room for that with this Alte, and it comes from a place of lack of introspection. Lack of introspection on the place of the fans, lack of understanding on the place of the fans. And I see it all the time, like, you guys are winning and all, you guys have finally done this, gotten to this point where people are paying attention, but this isn't it. Let's look at the reality of this. In this Lagos, no matter how much we shout Alte, 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 the Altes have not conquered 30% of Lagos.
I kind of agree with you.
I watched Wavy the Creator get stoned at Olamide's concert.
That was a very humbling.
I watched Wavy the Creator get stoned at Olamide's concert.
That was in 2018, 17.
Yeah, that was the stadium one. The stadium one was 17.
Was 17?
Yeah, last year was 18. The one that I
that was
called
2017.
Yeah, 2017 was the way when he took it to the stadium. At the stadium there in the mainland, Wavy the Creator came up, wearing white and all. I would never forget that day because I'm like, what the don't swear, what the dude?
I mean, a lot of people were expecting like a lot of people weren't expecting Wavy to be on that list.
On that list, but yeah, she did it,
and she was. I mean, the people she performed after Street Billionaires.
Yes,
and that was it. Kind of says a lot.
Yes,
which would bring us to something that I want us to discuss. But I'll let you go over what you want to talk about now.
Okay, so they have gotten attention to a certain level, but they've not. Talk to artists. Everybody has their eyes on the Wizkid money. A lot of people have their eyes on the Wizkid money because in Nigeria, if you're still doing niche, yes, you might generate some sort of funding if you stand out within that niche, but a lot of people would never be satisfied by being that niche guy, and the aim, if you ask anybody, the aim for the Alte movement is to, even if there are a lot of people are saying that they don't want to take over, they just want to exist. The aim for every movement that's going, very creative movement, is to take over, is to dictate the pace of the culture.
Yeah. To be in charge, basically.
Exactly. So that hasn't happened yet. They've built something out of nothing, identified that, and I'm very grateful that has happened, because if any new movement comes out, the people that benefit the most are the fans. And on a basic level, I'm a fan that interacts with the music, and that in itself expands my palette. It expands my enjoyment. They give me enjoyment, and that, yes, now enjoyment when I listen to a lot of the music now. One other thing that they've done, that they have successfully done, is influence. Some of the elements of their style. Some of the elements of their style, they're coming into mainstream.
Yeah.
A lot of the elements of their style. While the Alte people, they're also increasingly taking sounds from the mainstream and adding it to their vibe, to their art process.
Which is why what happened to Wavy at Olamide Stadium show was kind of interesting, and it is now even more so in retrospect. Wavy performing after Street Billionaires presents you with,
and High is a good song. High,
yeah, it's a very good song.
Very
I actually
good
like the song, and it presents you with two extremities. Street Billionaires are your regular street like crew. They're rappers who rap in Yoruba and street slang. They're pretty much larger than life. They work with MI's Chocolate City right now, and Wavy is, on the other end, making this ambient, moody type of music.
Yeah.
And those guys come, rock the stage, and then Wavy comes on a couple of minutes later, and the crowd is not feeling her.
The crowd is not feeling her, and they begin to throw projectiles.
And it was a very humbling moment, like I said. Now, looking back now, and in 2019, I think, in spite of the things that their stumblings and their initial failings, they deserve some credit for what you were saying, which is how they've try to like cross-pollinate cultures pretty much, and geographically as well, because what they're doing now, there's a section of young Nigerians in the diaspora that are inspired heavily by the Alte community and are replicating what they're doing outside of Nigerian places like London, in places like Dubai. There's also the fact that they themselves have incorporated, like you said, elements of traditional African Nigerian pop music. And you listen to songs like Cash by Lady Dundee. The way it starts off with that high life, like it's stuff that would have been difficult in a sense to expect from us, say, 3 years ago. But that is what artists do, they evolve, and she has evolved to this point, and artists around her as well. The people that define the community have evolved to incorporate more of these elements, and what we have now is a more full-bodied sound. Yes,
we're having a sound to be honest, incorporating this more pop cultural sounds into their art has actually created
Psycho YP made a Zanku song. I can't remember the title.
Maybe the creator tried, and she went doing the Shaku craze. She came with Shaku. It's
a very funny song.
Well, yes, and then look at Odunsi's Tipsy now. That was one of the best songs to me that have come out this year. I'm a big fan of that record. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of Lady Donley's Cash also. Those are records that are cross-pollination. That's what it is, and that understanding is what makes me happy about the Alte people. That's what gets to me. It's what makes me happy that a lot of them are understanding this, and a lot of them are actually opening their art up to more influences that are closer to home, and they're winning heavily from it, and that in itself is a good thing. Before we go further, let's drop this by what song? What song, Shagun?
This is such a special moment. You don't have to play Bujuari. I was just fucking with you.
Hello, welcome back everybody. This is the Game Uncensored. The game is the game. Always is the game.
Never changes.
Never changes, never switches, never flows different. It's always the game. You can argue with opinion, but you can't argue with fact, So back to this. So the main question here is Alte as a community now. Where do they go from here? a lot of it, looking at a lot of artists and their plans for the future. A lot of them say a lot of them are not being sold as Nigerian artists. A couple of them have said, okay, the bag in this country might not favor me a lot because the music I want to make needs a wider audience, which is awesome because everybody needs a wider audience. So a lot of them are trying, like people are dancing now, they're trying to communicate, they're trying to cultivate a following outside. They're collaborating. They've done that. Santi himself, really nice, really great news that came out this year with the release of his album Love Renaissance. You know Love Renaissance. Love Renaissance is a record label and management company based in Atlanta. On their Santi signed the management deal with them. Added them to become a part of their family. They have Black. AKA 6 Lakh.
Yeah. Love Renaissance is a very interesting label. I think they have Summer Walker.
Yeah, they have Summer Walker. They have Big Baby Drum. They have Drum. They have
Rory.
Yeah, yes, Rory. They have Boogie. They have Boogie. Yeah, they have Boogie, and then they have Mellow X. They have Mellow X, Mellow Extra, Mellow X, and so it's good for him because what such a partnership offers, or what such a deal offers, is that, you know, we're going to take this music and we can export it. We can take this music and plug it into spaces that are not traditional to you. We can open you to a whole vista of non-traditional audience and territories and markets that can actually push this music.
I think for Santi even is actually even more interesting because his sound is not tied down by any
culture. It's not tied down to any territory, to any culture.
It's hyper melodic stuff. The stuff you want to zone out to. You don't have to be Nigerian to understand Bon Chiga with the dark key. Like, do you understand? I'm Nigerian and don't understand what it is. So I think it's a very important partnership for Santi, and it's very interesting to see how this goes and what kind of templates it creates for the other guys that are coming. Because when we look at the first set of guys, the poster kids for the Alte movement, Santi, Teiwa, Lady Dundee, Odusi, they've struck partnerships or gotten into positions where
Odusi has won a chapel.
Yeah, he has won a chapel. Tea's selection, Donny did something with Mr. Easy's Empower. Yeah. And they've gotten into positions where it seems like the objective now is to amplify their product, amplify their art, and get into new markets. Yeah. So it's interesting to see, will everybody follow this template? Does everybody want to get the big bag from outside of Nigeria, or do they want to double down on the local markets?
But generally, for me, what I have seen and what I know, artists are working extra hard to leave this market. Not to leave this market per se, but to expand beyond this market. Nobody wants to do music in this Buhari economy.
Nobody
wants to tie their money to this Buhari economy. So if they have a way to make a bag outside, a lot of people are pursuing. Look at Pato Rankin, look at Rundown, look at Kiss Daniel also is working on something. A lot of people are working on things. Exactly. That's what it is. And for the Alte people, I think it's important that they're doing this also, and it's also important. But one other thing that's also important here is they don't have Nigeria yet. Alte people, they don't have Nigeria yet.
I find that very...
Yeah, they're cool on Twitter. People on Twitter know, some people on Twitter, and the section of Twitter, they know them. They're cool on the Lagos Island. They're cool in some places. Like, they have pockets of support, in the south, in Abuja. But are they dominating? No, they've picked up their win and we celebrate that. But there's a lot more to go.
I think they don't have the regular buyer on the street yet.
Yeah, they don't.
The regular buyer on the street is the one who gets Wizkid's fever to number one.
Yes. Those are the people that people brands will look at and say, oh, you have a lot of numbers. We're going to put money in you. You have a lot of this. You can generate as much value. So that's the level that Alte they are on now. And to be honest, what they're doing is amazing. Except the parts where they believe that if you criticize them, you hate them. But what they're doing is amazing, and I want it to continue. I am happy about it. Whenever young people show up and become and create something for themselves, it makes me happy. It gives me joy, and that's what it is, people. That's what it is.
So over the last couple of years, we've seen like a couple of guys get more prominent. What are your picks for? I mean, personally, I'm looking at guys like Mins. Mins has been thinking internationally for a while. He has a pocket of support in Gabon. a couple of other East African countries.
Yeah.
Lake Dolly I'm a big fan of Lake Dolly as
Yeah.
well. Tay Buju is also a very interesting
Tay is
artist.
great. Buju has something.
Doing the stoic, I'm a big fan of doing sound. Who are your
there's
picks?
Amare,
There's Amare, yeah.
Amare. For me, I don't. All the names we've mentioned, those are my picks. For me, I have been in this. I've been in this space long enough to understand that picks are essentially meaningless, because a lot of the time everybody keeps saying why a pick, who blow this year, who blow this year, who blow this year. Nobody saw Rayman's Bollywood vibes coming. Nobody saw coming. Nobody saw that. But it is sweet, it is amazing, and it is doing a lot of wonders this year.
Yeah.
So I don't usually do picks. I just like to spread my radar and just enjoy everybody what they provide, because in the end there are a lot more factors that make people blow beyond the artist.
I want to put you in a corner here. What's your favorite Alte album?
What's my favorite Alte album? It's Rare now. Odunsi Rare.
Oh, this is rare.
Yeah, you can you can go wrong.
Mine is Santi Susie's Funeral.
For me, it is Rare. I like Rare because it's the start of a lot of. I like Rare because it's the start of a lot of good things, and I'm happy that it happened. You can continue the conversation on social media. On Instagram, it's Cool FM Lagos. On Twitter, it's Cool FM Nigeria. My name is Joey Akan across all platforms, and we have
Shego Akonde with an underscore across all platforms. Except Facebook. Thank you.
Very important. You can find more of this every week on Saturday 7 p.m. on Cool FM 96.9. This is the Game Uncensored. The game is the game.
Never change it.
Over and out.
Yeah.